Presque Isle is one of the best places in my area to catch the spring warbler migration, but it's never a guarantee. Weather, wind, and timing all play a role, and all were against me on this day. When I started hiking, the trails were quiet, and then out of nowhere, I saw a flash of color dart across the trail. A female redstart. And to my surprise, she wasn't just passing through. This was her territory, and she was building a nest.
One of my goals for every shoot that I go on is not to get bit up by bugs and not to get poison ivy. And I'm pretty sure I've been sending in some here. Hopefully having long pants and boots and everything's going to prevent me from getting it, but I'll let you know. Just a thought on nesting behavior. If you're lucky enough to find a nest of any critter, it's really important that you stay back and crop in later. You don't want to get too close and cause the bird or any other animal to abandon the nest and then need to start over or abandon the young, whatever the case might be. So just be respectful whenever you do find situations like this. I'm walking a trail right now that has a lot of wide open areas, and I was hoping to see warblers, and literally as soon as I do that, here's some yellows. And as warblers like to do, they flew just out of range and behind some brush. But the idea here with this spot is that it's kind of wide open, so hopefully there's not too many places for them to hide. And I am seeing a decent amount. And I think the trick is really you got to stay in one spot for a little while, and then they calm down. Still no shots to speak of on this trail, but it seems like every time I get my camera out, 2 more yellow warblers. Lake Erie is right over here. So these birds are just being pushed in and just hanging out here just off the water, and then once they get rested up, they'll take off again. There's a yellow warbler up here. I didn't come out today looking to make a shot of a yellow warbler, but I've seen so many of these things that I've got to get a shot now. I'm invested. I've got to find a shot of a yellow warbler. I was coming around a bend and noticed this tree had something coming off of it, and I couldn't believe my eyes, but it's a bald eagle perched relatively close here to the road. Just waiting for him to take off right now, maybe get something a little bit more interesting. I can hardly believe the shot that I just got. I've been walking around all morning looking at the honeysuckle, thinking it would just be amazing if one of these yellow warblers would just land in that honeysuckle. And I got one in my frame, and just as I was focusing him up, of course he took off. But I stayed put. I stayed very, very quiet for about 10 minutes. And eventually he came back, and he actually came back a couple times. And he didn't land in the exact spot that he was before that would have been just perfect, but he did end up landing very close to the original spot on a dead branch that has him unobstructed. And I just love this shot displaying the honeysuckle, which is really the habitat that these guys love here at Presque Isle. I'm really, really happy with this shot. Just whenever I was about to give up hope of capturing a clear shot of a warbler today, this happened. You just never know. Try not to set yourself up for failure with high expectations. I knew coming into today that most likely the weather wasn't going to be in my favor, the migration maps weren't in my favor, and I was just happy to be outside and witness nature and breathe in the fresh air. And because of that, the experiences that I did have meant so much more. So whenever we don't set ourselves up for failure by expecting way too much from nature, we get to enjoy it to a greater degree. If you really like birds and the migration, you can check out this video over here that I made at McGee Marsh, one of the #1 places for warbler activity in the United States. Check out that video, and I'll see you there.